U.S. Attorney-General William Barr has sparred with politicians over whether spying occurred on President Donald Trump's 2016 presidential campaign, and said a redacted version of Special Counsel Robert Mueller's report on Russian interference will be released soon. During questioning by senators on Wednesday, Mr. Barr said spying on Mr. Trump's campaign was carried out by U.S. intelligence agencies, but he later recharacterized his concerns as focused on unauthorized surveillance. Initially using language echoing Mr. Trump's attempts to discredit Mr. Mueller's probe, Mr. Barr pulled back under questioning by Democratic Senator Brian Schatz, who said the use of the term spying was unnecessarily inflammatory. Redacted report to be released soon. Mr. Barr said the Justice Department would release a redacted version of the Mueller report next week. "I'm landing the plane right now," he told the Senate Appropriations Committee hearing. "I've been willing to discuss my letters and the process going forward, but the report is going to be out next week and I'm just not going to get details of the process until the plane's on the ground." In March, Mr. Barr wrote a letter to the committee summarizing Mr. Mueller's findings, in which he said the investigation did not establish that members of Mr. Trump's election campaign had conspired with Russia. He also said Mr. Mueller had presented evidence on both sides about whether Mr. Trump obstructed justice, but he did not draw a conclusion one way or the other. The Mueller report was given to Mr. Barr in March and has remained confidential while he reviews it and writes his own account communicating the findings to Congress and the American public. Mr. Barr also has to decide if the release of any sort of report is in the public interest. Mr. Barr discussed the report after a blistering assault by Mr. Trump on the FBI investigation that was taken over by Mr. Mueller, which the president called an attempted coup. "Everything about it was crooked. Every single thing about it. There were dirty cops. What they did was treason. I do have some questions." Mr. Barr told the committee that he would review all the intelligence activities directed at Mr. Trump's 2016 campaign. "Most of this has been done already," he said, adding he would pull it all together to see if there may be remaining questions to be addressed. He was also asked whether he had any evidence of wrongdoing in the course of the federal probe into whether the Trump campaign had worked with Moscow to sway the election. "I have no specific evidence that I would cite right now. I do have some questions about it," Mr. Barr replied. ABC/Reuters